What is going on, YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here now, Scala, with the man, the myth, the legend, my good pal, Mr. Billy Tucci. Brother, how we doing tonight?
You know, brother, I'm doing all right. It's good to see you for our 88th show, homie. What do you think of that? 88. Talking comics, talking the industry, talking rumors, talking everything entertainment. This has been a great ride, buddy. A great ride.
Dude,
now we are
almost 100, man. What are we going to do for the big 100?
I don't know, man, but I think we should just weep. Maybe we do a best of show. We have a whole bunch of big guest show. We call all our guests come on for a few minutes.
Yes.
Hello. And have like a destroy all monsters of of YouTube shows.
I say we have every past guest on, and for every guest we do a shot with them.
Even the ones that hate us now.
Yes, even the ones that hate us, we'll do a shot with them.
Yeah.
And then by the time the show's over, it'll just keep streaming because we'll probably be passed out.
Word up. But we got to drink, too. We got to celebrate.
Yes.
Champagne. And
maybe some kamikazes served up.
Oh,
one of our famous bartenders to be a good guest. Come on, it's coming up. I can't give the name yet.
No, you can't give the name yet. But let's see how it all works out. All right, buddy, with that one.
Yeah, I know, right? That'd be
hilarious.
It
should do great. It should do really well for us.
So what do we got? We got just so that we know. I want you to take a second. Tomorrow, what are we going to be doing before our show?
Oh, okay.
We got a big announcement, right?
Yeah, tomorrow before our show, we are going to be going on at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You and I.
Yes, sir.
So, and I will be announcing, we'll be launching for my Indiegogo for the She Return of the Warrior. We are now in demand. We have crossed that $140,000 mark, that hallowed mark, and we're going to be introducing 2 new IGG exclusives. So one of them is a special book that we had for those of you who follow me. We did a variant for the New York Comic Con, and it's sold out. I mean, 400 of them sold out even before the convention.
That's crazy.
Some people weren't happy. So we're doing a special edition of that maybe, and then another edition that I'm really excited about, and we'll be announcing our Indiegogo $75,000 stretch goal. So it'll be cool, man. So guys out there, join us, please, at 8 p.m. tomorrow Eastern Time. We're going to have a lot of fun from 8 to 9, and then we have our pal Clint Stoker, Sweet Cast, following up. And, now, will that be is this our 89th show or 88th show?
This is our 88th show.
Our 88th. So then Clint Stoker will come on for the 89th show. But anyway, enough about me, and we'll talk about the convention I had. I had a great weekend in Albuquerque, but let's get our guests to come on, and we can talk about that, with them.
Yeah.
So without further ado, you want to do it? You want to bring it up?
I want to do it, bro. So without further ado, greetings, crowdfunding centurions and crusaders all over the world. Our guests tonight got their proverbial butts off the couch in the bayou, headed to the bait shop to get some grub, and protected their home turf with their mystical powers and sheer strength. Without further ado, let me introduce Shawn, Sweeney, and David Shawn. Gentlemen, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, pretty good.
What's up, boys? Good to see you. Thank you for coming on to our show.
No problem.
Yeah, I mean, we were pumped. I know it's been a little bit. We've gone back and forth a few times trying to get you on. This wasn't our first attempt. And, after all that rescheduling, we're finally here. And we're ready to do this.
Hey, we appreciate it.
Yes.
We're honored to have you on, guys. And thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah. Honored to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me talk to you guys a little bit. So now you both you guys are partners, right, in this comic book Oddity.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd love to know, man, to give our guests a brief history, kind of like your origin story. How did you guys get into this silly world of comic books?
Well, I've been collecting comics. I collected comics in high school for a long time, and then I kind of got out of it for about 20 years. And then a few years ago, I caught a Zach stream in Diversity in Comics, and I was watching him roast comics and talk about the industry and stuff. And all the comics he was looking at, I'm like, you know what? I was like, I think I could do better than that. So I went online and found like a sample script. I had some ideas. I wrote a couple of scripts, and then I hooked up with one other artist. We did a little short, like 9-page. Just fun project together. And then I started up my own YouTube show, and I was interviewing creators and stuff, and I had Sweens on a couple of times. And then we did like a little panel on before he was getting ready to launch the Oddity, and afterwards he was he'd been drinking a little bit, and he was like, "Hey, you want to write the book for me, or write the book with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And I was thinking, "Oh man, he had like a fight with his writer or something," and when he sobers up, he's gonna get back and be like, "Oh man, sorry, blah blah blah." But no, a couple days later, I get back. I'm like, "Hey, we still on for this?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely." So he showed me what he had done so far, and he was just like, "Here's what I got. Just kind of script it for me. Let me know what you're thinking." Mm-hmm. So I was like, "All right, well, what's going on here?" He's like, "No, just make it up. Tell me what you think is going on." So I scripted out about 15 pages of what he had, and he was like, "Cool, this looks good." And so, bam, we started the project together.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, it's kind of funny how it all worked out and stuff. I didn't want to give him any of like my actual story before he wrote. I just wanted it to be like a prompt for him and just like let him like see what he had to offer with the images that I had drawn up already. And his take on it was a bit different than mine. Not so much that, it completely changed the story or anything like that, but enough that it made it more interesting. And the more we got into it, it got to the point where like we're just like finishing each other's ideas on where we wanted to take it, and it was just an easy fit. Like it all worked out almost too easy. So yeah, I was very lucky to get
a bit of soulmates.
I don't know if I go that far.
It was true love.
So, well, okay, yeah. And now with Oddity, you guys are over $14,000 with 272 backers. This is your first campaign, Sweens. So if I refer to you that as well, and this is pretty cool. But before we will go back to that, but. Tell us a little bit about yourself, buddy. Tell us about like where you grew up, what you can, and both of you guys, let us know.
I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, and my dad actually he worked for Kenner Toys.
Oh, cool!
And,
cool.
He was an engineer down there, and when I was a kid, he would take me down there, and I'd get to see all the behind scenes of the sculpting going on. All the painting, the drawing, all the character designs and stuff like that. And when I was a little kid, I got really into that stuff. And I'm probably around 7, 8, I started really getting into comic books. And I came from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is a big influence on the book, of course, as you can probably tell. I was really into Swamp Thing. Just all those like bizarre type creatures I really gravitated towards, and I just continued to draw them while I was growing up. All through school and stuff, I'd draw them for other kids in the class and stuff like that. And I always really enjoyed it. And once I went to when I went to college, I went for illustration and design. And once I went to school, the teachers were like, "Don't do comics." They're like, "You won't make any money. It's just it's a dead end path." Like they're like, stick to graphic design. That's where you're going to, have a job and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah. So I kind of got away from comics for a little bit until my senior year. There was a course on drawing comics, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. Like, why not? Check it out. And once I got back into it, I just fell right back in love with comics, and started drawing them on my own time. And just kept developing this character that I've had since high school, and eventually, when I got out of college and everything, I worked full time as a digital sculptor, and did that for several years until recently. And then, after work every night, I'd come home and work on this comic. And I did that, after I put the kids to bed and the wife went to bed, and I'd stay up all night and, 2, 3 in the morning drawing this character and making a book. And while I was up working late one night, I always liked listening to like Art Bell and like all those, paranormal, cryptozoology, stuff like that. I love listening to those talk shows because they're hilarious, because you just have all these mentally ill people coming on talking about these crazy sightings and all this stuff. And I was listening to this one show, and this guy started talking about comics and how there's this movement going on. And he was talking about diversity in comics and stuff. And I was just like, I'll check this out.
On the Art Bell show?
No. This was a show kind of like that. It was a small show at night.
Okay.
On YouTube. That's where I found that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it wasn't Art Bell. He's dead. Anyway,
yeah, he died. I thought he died, but you never know. At Art Bell, maybe he didn't.
Never know.
Right? Here's a character. So then I started watching diversity in comics, and then I found out about kind of this little community of indie creators that really dug old school comics. And I was like, you know what, I'll throw some of my art out there and see if anyone gravitates towards it. And they did. And I was like, I guess I'm in the right place. I agree with a lot of the people, and
well, I think the art's great in the book, man.
Yeah, the art is the art is great.
The writing, I don't know.
We'll find out. We just submitted the first 26 pages to Eric Weathers to get lettered.
Nice.
So in about maybe a week, a few days, we're gonna post the first 12 pages, and then you'll get to see.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Everyone will get a sample.
So you're into the paranormal, Mr. Sweens?
Yeah. I don't really believe in too much of it. I just find it very entertaining.
So Nile, Sweens is interested with the paranormal and loves the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Oh boy. I think I know.
Just say soulmate
I know
again.
2 guys that are going to get hammered together at the Baltimore Comic-Con this year.
Right? Talking freaking Bigfoot and Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
You got to listen to the Beyond Reality Paranormal podcast.
Beyond Reality.
My buddy, JV Johnson, he was on our Halloween special. He's the host of that show. His co-host was what was it, from Ghost Hunters there? Shoot. I'm having a mental block right now. Jason House. Jason House from Ghost Hunters, and now Ghost Nation on Travel Channel.
Yeah.
Their show. It's freaking awesome. Awesome show. A lot of it doesn't really make sense, but
yeah,
definitely cool.
No, I enjoy this stuff a lot. There's a character in the book who's based off Art Bell, kind of. Well, not kind of. He's pretty much Art Bell, but it's just kind of a little, homage to him and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Dave, man, let me ask you, man, like, now what inspired you though? So you're like, are there any comic book writers out there or any authors in general that have inspired, you or maybe even your style of writing?
I think my favorite writer, I can't remember his name. He's the guy that wrote Justified. Remember the TV show? I can't remember. It's based after a book of his. I can never remember the guy's name, and he's one of my favorite authors. But I used to read a lot as a kid. I read Stephen King. I read when I was 9 years old. I read Jaws.
Nice.
And Watership Down. I used to read a lot as a kid. So, but for dialogue, I cannot, for whatever reason, I cannot remember this guy. Oh, Elmore Leonard. Elmore Leonard's got the best dialogue. I love the way he writes and his style. I don't think he's ever written my favorite books, but I do love like everything I've ever read by him. So I think for dialogue and for story, I really like Elmore Leonard would be my absolute favorite.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Eric Hawkins there just says Justified is epic.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
I've got to look at it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
I haven't watched
Frank Amazing. Have you seen it?
Nope, I have not watched it.
No, we've not. We've got to look this up.
I don't know if it's streaming anywhere. I got like at least 3 seasons on DVD.
No way. How old is it?
Oh, I think it went off the air 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, all right. We'll have to take
I
a look at this.
like another one I like is darn it, what the one with the where the guy was the drug dealer.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. Yeah, Breaking Bad.
Nice.
That's another really good one.
Yeah, all filmed in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I was this past weekend. I went to the hot dog place where he would meet and sell drugs outside of, and pretty cool.
Were you disappointed when you realized it was just a show?
I did. Yeah, I never watched it. I haven't watched it yet. So
it's not just rock candy.
You know what it is? It's one of them things where you miss the first episode, so then you figure, oh, all right, I'll get to it, and you don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically where I'm at right now, but I will get to it.
Gotcha.
Funny, 'cause all those shows are dramas, but I really like comedies, and what I like to write is comedy. So,
oh, nice! You do comedic writing. Do you do any
that's
stand-up?
This book is like it's a horror comedy.
Nice.
So there's gonna be a lot of sight gags and funny jokes and that kind of stuff in it.
Oh, nice! That's awesome.
It's not gonna be like joke a minute, but I mean there's a lot of humor in it, and we're gonna mix it with horror. It's a lot of it's like it's good. I guess it's very similar to like not Walking Dead, Evil Dead kind of stuff.
Oh, cool.
Now we know that that Sweeney went to art school for illustration and design. What about you, buddy? Did you go to school for writing? Did you know?
I dropped out of 5 different colleges, and then I joined the military for about for a little just under 10 years.
Oh man, thank you for your service, buddy. What were you in?
I was in from 97 to 2006.
No,
I was in the Navy.
Well, anchors away, buddy. Thank you for your service, pal. Thanks you so much.
But I used to like to write a lot as a kid too, and then like I said, a lot of it was I was watching I watched a lot of Zach, and then I watched a lot of shows. I like Red Letter Media a lot, and that kind of stuff, and a lot of it was just listening to critiques and writing my own stuff, and then just kind of picking it up and learning 3-act structure and all that kind of stuff, and making sure ideas fleshed out and that kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
very good.
So let's talk about this book now. Let's get into this book. I'm scrolling through while you guys are just talking, just so some of the viewers can see some of this amazing artwork. Excuse me. Tell us a little bit. Give us a synopsis of the story. What are we actually looking at here?
All right. The premise of the book, it's very thematically, it's very Spider-Man-ish. He's instead of a teenage genius or whatever, he's a little jackass. He was a skater. He was kind of a no load, just hang out with his friends kind of guy. And then there's this where they live. There's this factory, this chemical factory, and there's this accident. And the first book isn't really the origin story. We just kind of drop hints. But basically, there's a factory accident, and he accidentally gets turned into this frog thing. And he can't live at home anymore because everybody's freaked out by him. So he runs into the swamp, and the swamp is kind of magical. There's like a spirit in the swamp, and it says, hey, you're going to take care. I need you to protect the swamp while I try to heal myself from all the chemicals and stuff that's in it. So he's assigned as the guardian of the swamp to keep people out. And because it's dangerous for the people to be there, and it's dangerous for the swamp for the people to be there. So he's assigned the job of keeping people out. And again, he's this jackass teenager. He doesn't really want responsibility or whatever. So he agrees to it, but then totally screws it up and accidentally unleashes monsters onto the community because he doesn't do his job right because he wants to show off and stuff. So he has that kind of, Uncle Ben moment, sort of, where he's supposed to do his job and he doesn't do it right. And that's what causes all the mayhem that's going to happen for the rest of the book. And so it's basically him. He has to learn to do his job correctly and accept responsibility. And there's a lot of heads being torn off and hot takes and stuff.
How many pages is the first book?
We're going to do between 48 and 50.
Oh, nice.
You gonna hit with a stretch goal?
Yeah, we got some trading cards already.
Excellent.
We got a lot of if you look at some of the pinups that we got, We got that Donald DeLay pinup. We got that Sashi really hot pinup. We got that one was Matt Houston. He was an artist for Adventure Time. He was a friend of Sweens.
Nice.
And that one right there.
That's
and
great.
That one. We're working on. We got some glow in the dark pins. That's going to be pretty soon. We're almost at that goal. That right there.
Oh, those are gorgeous. Now,
that's cool.
You know, we get people that like to watch the show that also they get ideas for their own shows. Some of those places looks like you had a model there or something, and I see that you got the glow in the dark pins. Where do you go to find, say, the glow in the dark pins? Where did you guys go to find them?
I work in a design world, and I know a bunch of other designers that kind of do the con circuit, and they have hookups for vendors and stuff. And she actually would not give me the name of the vendor. They keep that stuff very to themselves.
Okay.
So she sent me the invoice, and I paid, and she sent me the thing for the blueprint so I could blueprint it up for them, and then magically they just showed up in the mail, and they came in perfect. Like that's So as far like what we're looking at right here, this is a prototype. This is 3D printed, and this is like a model kit that people can get, and they'll have the choice to either have it sent as like a model kit where they can put together piece by piece. It's a lot of pieces, and I'll have a instructional video to show how it all goes together for people, and then they can paint it, or they can get it completely assembled and painted by me. So that's one of the options. But yeah, this is a digital sculpt that I did, and then I worked with a printer and a 3D printer, and he printed it all out for me, and I just got the prototype in earlier this week, and made some minor adjustments on it. And then he's going to send me pictures of everything that's been revised, and then he'll be sending me the finals shortly. So yeah, this was in hindsight, I would probably do this as a separate as its own campaign. Because it's a lot. It was a lot of work, and it's going to be even more work once I get all these finals in, and I have to clean them up and paint them and stuff like that. They will be printed in color, but I'm going to go in and do like fine detailing on pieces and some dry brushing and stuff like that to make them pop a little better.
Now this is a stretch goal?
No, this was just a tier that you could buy in on.
Oh, nice. And how many of these are you going to have to paint?
Well, we did 20, and we sold, what did we sell? We sold like 13 of them.
Nice.
So yeah, but I'm gonna hire on some other artists to help paint on and stuff like that. I used to work in making animatronic monsters here in Columbus, and so I know a bunch of artists that I work there with, and so they'll come over and we'll probably knock these out in a day or two. But,
nice. Now, what's the name of your main character?
Well, it goes over it in the story why he's called it, but it's just Oddity, and we kind of bounced that around for a while. We're like, is that weird? Like, is that weird to just call the character that? And then, it's one of those things like, when you first name your dog, and you're like calling your dog's name, and you're like, that just sounds weird. But then after a while, it just kind of like, it just fits. It's kind of like what happened with this character. I knew what the name of the book would be, but I wasn't so sure about the name of the character. And then we just kept calling it, Oddity, and we're like, it just fits. And then there's a few lines in the book that describe why we call that character or why he gets called that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And is this his pet fly?
Book.
Yeah, the Fly is it's kind of like his Jiminy Cricket.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And so there's a lot of banter going on between them, and the Fly's trying to basically guide him, on his journey becoming, this guardian, this protector, and they're just going at it back and forth. And there's kind of a fun little scene where he's eating maggots with chopsticks, and the Fly's like looking down at him, like, it's kind of like a nod to like Lost Boys.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things to like 80s horror. I'm a big fan of that genre, so there's a lot of little Easter eggs, stuff like that in there. And then if you look down on the left on that page, you see our guy that's our Art Bell type character in his classic pose, smoking a cigarette.
Mm-hmm. Now you got Sweens, a really interesting art style. It's not like anyone else's. Can you explain it? Tell us about your drawing style. You know what I mean, and your preference of storytelling, your preference of tell us about your style.
Okay. Well, my biggest influences growing up were, you hear this a lot within Comicsgate and our community and stuff. Like the Image books, because I was like 10, 12 when those books came out, and I just gravitated towards them. Like I loved all the action in them and stuff, and all the lines, all the energy in it. So that was a huge influence to me. And then as I got older, I started to get more into like Mike Mignola, and how he really simplified the shapes and stuff like that. So I love having these kind of like geometric shapes, but then giving it a little more rendering and feathering with your line. And it's weird developing a style, because early on you find yourself just copying other artists that you admire, and then you do that, and then you find other artists, and then you keep like taking different aspects of artists that you love, and then you just kind of like digest it and then regurgitate it onto the page, doing your own, and it just comes out to be kind of your own thing.
Yeah, it totally is your own too.
Yeah, that's kind of how it all happened.
Nice. Now, what's the future for Oddity? I mean, what are you guys going with this? Do you have a certain amount of books? Do you have other scripts coming out? Dave?
I've planned out. Let's see. The second issue is going to be the origin story. We find out how this one is jump right into the action, and we find out what he does and what his job is and his role. The first one is how he got there, and then the third one I want to do. Everything's gonna come together, and that one's gonna be just super crazy. It's gonna be all the weirdness that has to do with the spirit that assigned him, and all the kind of magic in the swamp, and that one's gonna be just insane.
Yeah, nice. my idea with having the first book like more action and just throwing you right into the middle of the book, or into the story, was because I was thinking to myself, like, I might not have a chance to ever do this again. Like, this book just flop. And then what did I do? I spent 2 years of my life drawing an origin story without too much of the fun jumping around action, crazy horror elements within it. And I was like, I want to just grab people and have fun with this book. And that's kind of like my thought on it. And now that we got this funded and we're going to do a second book, then then we'll answer some of the questions. And then the third book will just tie everything together, and
and that's smart. Yeah. That's really smart to do it too.
The first book should sell the second book. So you should learn about the characters, and they should get interested in the characters, get into the adventure of the book, and then be like, okay, now I really want to learn more about the characters, and so that's where that's where you sell the second book.
Yeah. Now, is this your guys? Is this your break into comics? This book, is this your first comic book each?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Good for you guys, man. I mean, and that's, and here's the thing is that 10 years ago, it would be almost impossible for you to put out your own comic. I mean, you could, but you're not going to be able to go through crowdfunding, have people, go directly to the fans, and have people give you a chance like that. You know what I mean? Because it's the way the distribution is with retailers, and all the big giant events that Marvel and DC do. There's and then Image dominating as well with dominating the previews magazine and majority of the press as well. You couldn't do books like that now. And what Nile and I, why we started doing the show, is that we love this idea of crowdfunding, is that you can go directly to the consumer. You can go to people and you could pitch your books, and you can ally yourself with other comic creators. I mean, like we talk about this being, a new golden age of independent publishing, which it is. But I mean, it's also cool. Like it's like an entirely new crop of outlaw publishing. You know what I mean? Boutique publishing, outlaw publishing, publishing that most people would think you'd never get a chance, to do before.
Yeah. Well, we and what was nice was we had our backers are awesome. Our backers are just the best people. And before we were launching, we were like, all right, well, when do we want to launch this? Because we could have finished the book and then launched it like in March, April, when I guess season was a little better because we're heading right into the holidays.
Yeah.
So we could have done that. So we put it out. We had a lot of backers, and they said, "Hey, what do you want? Do you want us to put it out? Do you want us to drop the Indiegogo now?" And everybody, or do you want us to wait until the book is finished? And overwhelmingly, people were like, "No, we want to be able to back it right now. We really want to get into it." And it was still kind of a big risk because you never know the numbers. But I mean, we were funded in like a day and a half, if that.
Now, did you guys promote? Now, did you promote all this before you even went live?
Yeah, as soon as we got together, which was I think maybe April or May, then we started getting into it, and then it was like, all right, once everything was good, I put out a little video, and it was like, bam, we're together on this comic, and it was with the art and stuff, and then we were promoting it right away because one of the mistakes I've seen other people do is they did almost no promotion and then launched the book. And then when the book comes out, nobody knows anything about it. So we wanted to make sure we built as much of a fan base as we could before we actually launched the book. So
how important? I mean, what was your tactic on advertising? Was it mainly social media?
Yeah, pretty much. It was a lot. It was a lot of Twitter, getting on as many of these kind of shows as we can. I have my own show with with small following, tiny following. But I had like 1,000 followers, I think, when we started on Twitter.
Nice.
So over years, and the reason I joined Twitter was to make contacts and kind of network and maybe build a little name for myself. And I did. It was a little name for myself. And once I've got a bunch of followers, and then I can put stuff out. Hey, both of us are working on this book now. And people had seen the artwork on the book. They'd seen the character. That character, it jumps right off the page. Literally and figuratively, it stands out. The colors are bright. It's a fun-looking character, and it jumped right off. And everybody that'd seen it was like, "Man, when's this coming out? What is this?" Yeah, exactly. So, so it was an easy yes for when he said to write, and then it's relatively easy to promote. It's really just getting in front of as many eyes as possible.
Yeah. Now, Sweens, I mean, how serious have you had to take social media?
Really serious. Like, when I started posting art of this up probably in like June of 2018. Yeah. So I just started like leaking images out, and then each image I'd pick up a few followers, and people would start asking questions, and I would I'd give them answers and just be really polite to them and treat them like people, like a person you'd meet in real life. Face to face, and not sit there and degrade anyone, or if anyone had some critique on it or something, I would still talk to them, and I wouldn't get offended or anything like that. And and I just kept doing that for about a year, and picked up a fair amount of followers. And the way I describe it is, I mean, it's crude, whatever, but you kind of like want to give these people blue balls. You want to kind of like
tease them a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Tease them a bit, get them excited for it, and have them asking questions, and and then you like not drag them along, but keep their interest peaked, and continue to let the art out, and then eventually you drop the bomb, and hopefully you picked up enough people and you got enough interest that people back it. And before we launched, I was like nervous, like I wanted to vomit, nervous. Like I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. You just gotta give them the tip.
Mandy.
Just a little game of the tip. Just a little game of the tip.
Yes. Yeah. And and then we launched, and it just like my phone just kept vibrating from people backing it. I couldn't believe it. Like
That's awesome. That's awesome. So now, and then you guys, I know you discovered Comicsgate. Was that something you guys were starting to affiliate yourselves with before really promoting the book, or was it something that as you started to promote your book, you're like, hey, this is kind of interesting, let's check this out?
I'd considered myself Comicsgate since I first started watching Zach. As soon as like Comicsgate was a thing and people were in it, I was like, yeah, I'm Comicsgate, because that's what we're in. And then when we got together, we sat down straight up. And we're like, do you want to be a Comicsgate book? Is that what we says? Yeah, we'll do that. And then it was when we were talking about promoting, we sat down. We're like, all right, so let's keep it positive. Let's keep it fun. Let's make sure if we're having like a bad day or something, either don't put anything out as far as tweeting, or just try to always stay upbeat. And so that's what we try to do. We try to always stay upbeat. Whenever we take criticism, to me, criticism is like free schooling. Somebody gives you a criticism, that's free teaching. They're like, oh, okay, that's free advice that people are giving you.
Yeah,
you can take the stuff that works, and you can kind of, even if it's like something you don't agree with, you can be like, okay, I can understand that. And I never try to insult anybody. I never try to take anything as an insult. Even if I know something is an insult, I'll be like, oh, well, thanks for supporting, and oh, thanks, sorry we couldn't make you happy this time, that kind of stuff. So it's always try to keep upbeat and try to keep positive.
Yeah, it's always good to be the bigger person and stay positive. You got to be like Stan Lee circa, 1965.
Yeah.
Promote your stuff. Everyone's got problems. Everyone's got, just life. You know what I mean? But, when you're pushing your book, though, nobody wants somebody being negative and bitching and stuff like that all the time. Spending all this time on, on Twitter and stuff like that and just bitching. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to see that.
Exactly.
And TJ James, as he does whenever the name Comicsgate comes up, and he's a supporter of Comicsgate, but he hates the name. He hates the name.
Yeah,
he lets everyone know.
Whatever. I mean,
do. So I mean, let me ask you guys a question though. So you're kind of living in this life. You're part of this online community. Do you have dreams to go beyond it?
Well, we've we love the Comicsgate people, but I mean, it's kind of a niche, a little bit. So we're always looking for outside. I mean, we want as many people to want to buy the book as possible. So we love all our Comicsgate people, but we want to bring as many people in as possible.
Would you guys ever consider trying to grow your brand, your stories, your characters over into the Kickstarter world?
We have been discussing it.
Yeah.
We're already funded. So it's really whatever happened when we shut down here on Indiegogo. It's there's no downside to us saying, okay, well, we're going to overprint some books anyway. Let's see if we can unload some on Kickstarter.
Nice.
We haven't set that in stone yet, but I mean, it's to me, there's no downside to it. If some weird thing happens and they decide they don't want our book, well, all right, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, Billy and I are a huge fan of both platforms, and I'm starting to see it now. You know, I'm starting to see a lot of what we've kind of been preaching a little bit of, you know, it's a business. You know, if you can sell and, you know, don't only sell in Walmart, if Target will take your stuff or wherever you want to go, you know, just keep getting it out there. Because, you know, this is, as much as everyone loves making their comics and their characters and bringing these worlds alive, hell, if you can make a living off it, it's a business, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting. You know, I'm seeing like IndieCron now. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. They do the tracking if you want to have your book tracked. You know, they're now open to Kickstarter. You know, now they're going to start tracking Kickstarter and Indiegogo projects. And now we're starting to see other. And I'd have to say maybe because Billy, you influenced some people. You know, there's people that are trying to do the double whammy. You know, hitting Kickstarter and Indiegogo at the same time, or you know, immediately migrating over to just keep the momentum going.
I would say as a strategy, Indiegogo is good for getting the initial funding, and then what happened?
He comes in and out. I'm just waiting for him to come back.
I would say I would say money wise, because the fees are
he's going to make tinkles.
Getting the initial funding on Indiegogo, and then moving over to Kickstarter. Like I said, we haven't tried it yet. We haven't looked at all the numbers yet. But I would say there's nothing wrong with that strategy.
Yeah. The Mobsy asked if you guys have any plans on trying to get the book into retail stores.
If I were to say I have a 5-year plan, it's basically Sweens' book. It's his character. He has full ownership. Mm-hmm. I'm basically a paid contractor. But if I had my druthers, I would say once we get all 3 books out, then I would shop it out to a publisher or somebody, and maybe break it up into floppies, or put together one big collection or whatever. I think breaking it into floppies and having every book that we put out on Indiegogo could be broken into 2 books, and then if we get 3 books, that's a 6-issue series.
Yeah, and then some creators like Brian Polito, he does that. You know, he'll take he'll basically publish a graphic novel, and then he'll distribute it through Diamond, but he breaks it out now. You know, he may break that what does he do it in like 2 or 3 books, Billy? He breaks them down.
I think that's how he does it. We're probably gonna do that as well with Zombie Sama. First we'll hit with our we have a meeting with Diamond, and we're gonna hit with the 25th anniversary She book. And then we're going to hit with the Zombie Sama, but we'll break that up, I'm sure, into 2 issues. I mean, 60, maybe even 3, 3 floppies, and then just do it as a graphic novel, and give it a shot and see how that works.
Yeah. So that's hitting the audience. You can get, you might be able to get 3 books less than you'd get the $25 premium, crowdfunded book. And there's your bigger audience there too.
Mm-hmm. And then TJ's asking, do you guys have any other? Well, maybe this one's for Sweens. Do you have any interest in other media forms for Oddity?
It's all up in the air right now. Like, I'm just playing things by ear. I don't really have any plans to take it anything beyond comics besides, like a sculpture or whatever, stuff like that. But nothing else really. Like, I'm just, I never thought it'd even get funded, really. So it's all kind of, I'm just, right now I'm focused on getting this book finished and getting it out to our customers. And then after that, who knows where it'll go. But for now, I'm just worried about getting the book out and, hitting a deadline.
Get it out. Yep, that's it.
Get it out there. And I like Mandy's comment. It's almost like doubling your money funding on both, but there's a huge stigma with Kickstarter within Comics8, but I always figured I'd just hashtag no fan left behind and be like Billy. Billy did it. I'm going to do it. Like, what?
Yeah.
There's really no down, especially for us, since the book is funded already.
Yeah.
All Kickstarter would do, excuse me, would be selling your extra copies. Then it would be like opening up on a in-demand store.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
essentially. And what you can do is you can set your initial goal really low because you're already funded. Yeah. So I don't know how trending works on Kickstarter, if they do the same kind of thing as Indiegogo. But once you meet your goal, then anything over that's gravy, and that helps with your trending numbers and maybe get you seen more.
Yeah, and you make a whole new video, and you say like Brian Polito does, and the best thing about this book, it is done. It is printed, and we will start shipping within 10 days of the campaign ending because, Indiegogo just ends. Yeah. My son Matthew.
Hi.
Say what's up to
Hey, what's up, man?
Sweens and Dave.
This is hi.
Indeed.
How's it going?
You want to bet?
So, have you guys used Backer Kit at all? Are you familiar with that Backer Kit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Through
Mhm.
yeah. Did you guys actually use that?
I don't think we used Backer Kit. I don't think we did. I think we just went ahead because we did do on both platforms. You know what I mean? So Backer Kit only works with Kickstarter, I believe,
No,
right?
you use Debbie Kit.
We use
She
Debbie
takes
Kit.
care of everything. She takes care of everything.
Well, that's her job, man.
Yeah, Backer Kit is great though. I mean, I forget what the fees are, but it is, if you're as you're growing, and you're getting to the point where you're 50K more, hitting six figures, and you've got many stretch goals and things like that. Backer Kit is good because it's it's almost like a constant contact for your backers. It keeps them in the loop. Yeah. It allows them to share certain things. It also, they help distribute. They can help with fulfillment.
Cool.
And we didn't do Backer Kit because we might have done it for the first one. I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. I don't.
No, you haven't done any Backer Kits yet. You've talked about it.
Yeah, because I think Debbie said it's like doing what she's doing now, and Backer Kit would only work with the Kickstarter and not the Indiegogo people. I think.
I think you have to have it from the beginning too, right? There's no like coming in the middle.
Correct.
Yeah,
you have to start off,
man.
Yeah. Well, that's why you got to get to it. Really is for a certain. You got to hit that certain tier. Like you really have to have a lot of well-funded projects, constant growth. Mm-hmm. Each campaign's got to be hitting like a 50% increase and keep growing because it takes a big nut. The guys that are using Backer Kit are doing anywhere from 100 to 300,000.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. It depends on what you want to make. There are guys that are doing it for less.
For Kickstarter, though, right? It's not for Indiegogo, or it is.
I'm not sure. I know for sure it's Kickstarter. I don't know what the deal is for Indiegogo.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never actually looked into it that far. I've only looked into it for Kickstarter. Okay. But hey, we got a question here. This is for you, Billy. At Crowdfunding Comics, did I read in the updates that Return of the Warrior backers are getting a line art version of the 300 homage cover?
Yes, that might have been our $100,000 a reward level. Everyone gets the sheet. No, it's the sheet. I don't know if it's Return of the Warrior or the Way of the Warrior. I think it's the Way of the Warrior Black Line Edition. Everyone gets that free. All of our backers. Everyone who's a physical backer, and if you backed it on Kickstarter, you get it. And if you backed it on Indiegogo, you get it. All of our backers
nice
get a copy of it. And that's the Black Line Edition of the Way of the Warrior. That's our 25th anniversary edition for that. Cool, right?
It's cool, bro.
It's a full book. It's a full color book, printed on the same cover stock and interior as the original Spider-Man number 3, Amazing Spider-Man number 300, or as close as we can to get to it. And so that's one of our stretch goals. We've been getting a lot of stretch goals. They started coming in already today. Peter Cimetti, our buddy Peter Cimetti at Return of Comics, we partnered with him for that, and he's great. Really great guy to work with. Yeah. You guys are friends with Peter. He's amazing. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of our stretch goals. And that's a reward everyone gets for free, that whole comic. That's like our gift to everyone. Then I had a conversation with Brian Polito, and he told me I was crazy and I had to start to lower my costs for my rewards, for my stretch goal rewards. But you know what? We're having fun. I think it's great. I'm having a blast doing it. I'm loving it. And now if this is your show, we'll talk about my stuff tomorrow. We have tomorrow, so sorry, man. Sorry. But I wouldn't recommend giving everybody a comic book. Though I probably will do it again. I wouldn't recommend printing a comic and giving everyone a free color comic. But we were so excited because I was like, you guys, Sweens, when you're saying, man, you don't even know anyone's going to buy it. Because I hadn't done She in 15 years, and we had done really well with the book, for a decade. But then you stop and you think people forget you, but they never did, and they come back, which is great. And I love that about, with crowdfunding. I know with you guys, for the next book of Oddity is going to be bigger than this one.
Mm-hmm.
If you get that book out, the next one's going to be bigger because people want to fuel your success. That your enthusiasm is contagious, and they want more of And it looks like a great property. I haven't read it yet, obviously, but it looks great. And you guys should be really proud of yourself, man. You sent a book. You launched it in October 2019. It's in demand, and now you're starting to send pages already to your letterer. Kick ass, man. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, so how's network going for you guys? How's networking going? Because I'm seeing some of the names that you're working with. Obviously, Eric Weathers. He's been, Eric Weathers letters everything.
That was a no-brainer.
And is it
a no-brainer? I mean,
EVS did a cover for you guys?
Yeah, EVS is doing. He and Sweens are doing a jam cover.
Yeah.
So how did you get him to do a cover for you? That's great, and that's a story people want to know. How did you get EVS to do a cover for you guys?
We didn't do anything. Our supporters started tagging them, and they were like, "You should let Sweens do borrow Cyberfrog so he can have Cyberfrog on a alternate cover," and he responded on Twitter to the post, and he was like, "Absolutely!" Like, I didn't even ask it, and I was like, "What in the world? Like, how is this happening?" And then I sent him a DM, and I was like, "Are you sure?" Like, I didn't know if he was just like he felt like he was on the spot or something. I don't know. So, and then he responded. He's like, "Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm down for this." He's like, "But how about I draw Cyberfrog and you draw Oddity?" And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. The guy's made $1 million off his book, and he's got something like, what did he have? How many backers does he have now?
17,000 or whatever.
17, and if you think about it, maybe 20,000 people it could be. That's pretty great, man.
Yeah. So we're hoping he should have that pretty soon, we hope. But that should be a big boost for us. Mm-hmm. And then I think once we get all the lettering back and we post that 12 pages, the 12-page preview, I think once you see the words with the images, I think that's really going to sell the book a lot too. Because that first 12 pages really kind of sells the real bones of the story.
Mm-hmm. Now conventions, are you guys going to be looking at doing that to get more exposure for the book?
I think you're talking about doing Cincinnati, maybe. I think that's in September. That'll be after the book ships and everything, but that'll be a good way, I think, to show off the original book and then do the second book, show off the second book.
That's fantastic.
Very nice.
Because it's cool. It's really cool seeing all the different, creators you guys are working with. And who's doing the coloring for the book?
I'm doing the coloring as well.
Oh, you're doing the coloring. Wow. So you're doing everything. Your pencils, inks, coloring, and the only thing you're not doing is the lettering.
Yeah. And
okay. He's just a show off, Dave. Yeah. He's a show off.
It's a show off. He's a show off, Frank.
I would do the lettering, but we pushed like the estimated delivery date up a bit, and not that I couldn't do the lettering. I mean, I did graphic design for a living too. It's just like after all this work, the last thing I want to do is letter it. And like lettering's super important. And if you rush through it, it's going to look like you rushed through it. And it's going to, it'll just be a blemish on the book. And I was like, you know what? I will put the money out to make sure this book looks, as top notch as I can possibly make it. And so like, it's worth it.
I think people will understand you're doing enough, another thing people have to understand, and I understand it, is that, it's people do want the product. You know what I mean? We're in that, go to Amazon, get something shipped to you in a day mentality, and that we can, put out. Bet you, Sweens, I bet you could draw, 2 pages a day if you wanted to. But who wants to do that? You want to give your best. This is your legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Doing 2 pages a day, not very likely. Like I spend like I do most of my drawing on an iPad, like digitally. When people want like original art, what I do is I print out my inks in a blue line on a Bristol board, and then I ink over the blue line, and then I'll take that and rescan it and put that in, for the colored page. Just set it right over the colors, and it lines right up. So that's one way of doing it. But when I work on an iPad, it tracks every minute I work on a page and every stroke I make. So like each page for me to draw takes about 30 plus hours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like it's a ton of work. And there's definitely days where I don't want to do it, but then I think like, this is like the coolest thing I get to do. Like, is to be able to draw a comic and put it out there. And on those days when I don't feel like doing it, I just think, this is what I always wanted. And I enjoy every moment of it. But, getting into first gear is difficult some days. And, once you get into second, third, then everything's cool. But,
when you get kind of out of that swing, I don't know if this has happened to you. Like I'll go like a long period of time where, you get up, I got to take my kids to daycare, then I go to work full time, and then, come home, you got to do that stuff, put the little ones to bed, then you jump down here, you broadcast a show, then you go work on your book. And I'll tell you, man, you take a couple nights off, it's really hard to get back in.
Okay.
I'm just kind of like, oh my God, it was so nice to actually go to bed at like midnight.
Yeah.
Keep the momentum going. And, when you stop it, it's very difficult to, get rolling again. But,
yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. Like I had the Albuquerque Comic Con, my first Comic Con, in, I don't know, geez, a long time, and I had that this weekend, and that's 5 days because you fly in, I flew in Friday morning and on a 6 a.m. flight. The show was then Friday. So we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the convention. Then you go to, you fly home Monday, but that's an all-day affair because there's flights getting canceled and things like that. And then come Tuesday, you're just exhausted. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
From the, and then trying to get back in. And that's why I'm at the drawing table. But as I said, I'm going to be at the drawing table from now on because I just have to have work to, I just got to get this book done.
Yeah.
But, and another thing people don't realize, and right, I mean, tell me what you think, Dave, is even the marketing's a full-time job.
Oh yeah. And we felt it. Like I didn't quote unquote take a break, but during the holidays, you get busy doing other stuff, and we were pretty much dead for a few weeks. And I understand other people, they're buying gifts and all that other stuff, but you still you got to keep at it, and you take a few days off, and you really see it. You really see you don't have your name on right in front of people's face.
Yeah,
and they forget about you. I mean, we got good backers, and our backers remember us. But if you're not showing your wares all the time, then you just kind of float out of people's minds.
Yeah,
very true.
When do you guys? Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to tell Victor I use Procreate on iPad.
Nice.
That's what I use, the program. Sorry.
No, so when do you guys think you'll be able to start shipping the book?
Our deadlines. Well, the deadline we set ourselves is March. We had to basically scale back a little bit, cut some of the fat on the rest of the book. And it's just the story's all there and stuff. It's just we had to all right. We realized we were 20 some pages into the book, and we only had so much pages to tell the rest of the story. And we want to make sure, as much as I know everybody wants a good book and they'll forgive us a little bit for being a little bit late, we still want to try to hit those deadlines as much as possible.
Yeah.
But we're aiming for March. If it's April or May, hopefully it won't go much past that. But I think we can probably March is what we have set, and I think we can probably make that.
The biggest question is Ethan right now. He's got all these sketches to do. And that's his first priority.
Yeah.
And a lot of people bought into his book, so we gotta make sure that we get that cover and stuff. So if we don't make it, we'll blame it on him.
There you go. He only has 700 or 800 sketches to do.
Some stupid amount of
He's smart though. Every book gets the same sketch.
That's crazy.
That's the problem. Sweens doesn't know how to do sketches. We have a sketch tier, and he draws like a full page of the comic.
Oh my!
Yeah,
he drew one sketch, and it was like, well, I'm looking at the sketch. And I'm like, no, it's supposed to be a sketch. And it was like, all right, well, just stick it in the book, so it's not a waste of time.
There you go.
I got really into it. It's fun.
He's a proud papa, man. He's a proud papa of what he's producing, right? You got to give it to him.
I don't want to look at this, a year from now and cringe and like absolutely hate it. Now, of course, I'm going to look back at it and I'm going to see things that, I definitely don't like. I mean, that's how it is as an artist. You grow and then you look back at your old work that you thought was amazing at one point. And then you look at it and you're like, oh man, there's so many things I could have changed about this or done things differently. And, that's just part of the process. That's part of the artist journey, whatever the hell that is.
Well, it's the same thing, for me. I know there's going to be stuff I'm going to look back. I'm like, oh, we could have done this a little better as far as narrative and how, we showed different things. So this next book will be start to finish. I'll be involved, so I'll have less of an excuse if something doesn't show up right for the writing. but I mean it's kind of weird doing this because like I said, I came in 15 pages in, so we kind of have to adapt the story to it. But for the next book, I'll be beginning to end, so it's that's going to be. I think that's going to be a much easier, more organized process.
Oh. Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. It usually will be, and then you'll kind of get it down, and you'll have the fans. You'll get more people pushing it, right? Yeah. So let's have a little fun, man. Let's talk about the industry, guys. Where are we going? What are you seeing out there in mainstream and also in the indie community? There seems to be a lot of interesting things going on.
I'm still got a pull list at my comic shop. So I mean, I tend, it seems to be, I buy a lot of short series, 6-issue series, mini series, that kind of stuff, as opposed to I was doing when Liam Sharp and Morrison took over Green Lantern. I was on that for a little bit, but a lot of stuff, it's like I'll look in trades and I'll be like, oh well, this looks like a good short series, and so I don't really get into anything for any length of time. I buy a lot of these short series. But I don't buy a lot of mainstream stuff. Ultimately, I tend to like a lot of the different indie stuff.
Mm-hmm. Are you still buying a lot of stuff from like Image and some of those indie publishers?
Honestly, I don't buy a whole lot from Image. Back in the day, when I was a kid and that all came out, I was all about the Image books. But now it's like I'll see what looks like what seems like a good concept. There's a comic I was buying called Kanto, which came out, which was a really neat little indie book. I think it was IDW, and it was a cool little story, and I really liked it. Sometimes I'll buy a lot of books, and then it takes me a long time to get to them. But that was one of the series where I'd get it, and I would almost read it almost all the time right away.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't really follow too many mainstream comics anymore. I mean, I'll still go to the shop, and if there's Greg Capullo book out, a Batman, whatever, I'll pick that up just for the art. I did read some of Scott Schneider's Batman. It was cool for a little bit. That was back in 2012, something like that. But recently, it's been mostly indie books that I buy into.
Now, are you buying from your local comic shops, or are you buying a lot through Indiegogo and stuff?
Indiegogo mostly. Like I like to support the guys that support me, and
great man.
We just push each other, and there's a ton of indie creators around here that they're a DM away. If I got a question on anything, any part of making a book, there's people right there that I can shoot a DM to, and they get back to me. And there's a couple like they'll do like Google Hangouts at night. Some of the artists do, and while we're all working, we'll be working with each other and busting each other's balls and showing each other work and critiquing each other, stuff like that. But mostly just making fun of each other. But it's fun.
Giving each other time. So or whatever your practice
is. Smack.
Yeah, exactly. But so I like to support the guys, within the group, and we try to lift everyone up for the most part.
We're really being part of Comicsgate and stuff, and Twitter. We got really close with at least I am with the guys from Shinobi Sasquatch and the guys from Monster MD. And we have our own little hashtag Team Monster.
We love them.
On our campaign. You'll see there's one of the things is a pinup with us, Shinobi Sasquatch, and Monster MD, and that was done by Donald DeLay. And we haven't discussed anything in detail, but it's one of those things where they're doing a crossover with their 2 books, and maybe further down the line, I mean, we can jump in with that. Do a little crossover with them at some point. No plans in the works right now. Don't get all excited, guys. But but I mean, that's definitely an option. We're cool with them, and we talk a lot amongst them. I have Cal on my show all the time from Shinobi Sasquatch.
Yeah, no, they're great guys. All of them, they're great guys, fantastic creators. Especially you guys included. I mean, going in with your first books, and you guys are really rocking it with some really creative, fun comics. There's nothing too crazy and out there with them. It's just good old fashioned.
Exactly. That's what I wanted. Like I made the comic that I always wanted to read, and people happen to dig it, and I'm super thankful, very grateful for all that. So, I can't really ask for too much more.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question. Like, how do you? So, you guys are very close knit. You kind of sounds like you guys are building your own little group within a group, just collaborating wise, right? But what's up with with how do you guys handle all the drama and stuff that goes on?
I try to stay clear.
I just don't engage with any of that. If I second guess a tweet that I'm going to put out, first of all, I never make any commentary on anything with my tweets. I just put my art out and I promote, and then I talk to people that back it or people that enjoy it and they have questions, and I interact with them, but I don't go out of my way to make any political statements or statements on anything really. I find the less you do of that, the less drama you have to deal with. So I really, for the most part, on Twitter, I don't have any negative interactions. I've got kids and a family and work to do. I don't really have time to, get to Twitter arguments with people over things that mean nothing to me in the real world. So
well done.
I've found when I stick my nose in stuff, if there's something going on, I stick my nose in it, then other people chime in well, you don't have the full story because this side did this and that. So finally I was just you know what, every once in a while, and I really dial it back. I can't tell you how many times I go to write a tweet and then just delete the whole thing before I send it. Because it's well, I have this opinion, but then I know that somebody's going to come back with, well, this guy did this, and then this guy did that. And then it's well, you're trying to keep a scorecard on who you can be friends with and who you can talk to and who's going to get mad if you talk to so-and-so.
Yeah.
So I try not to engage too much. I mean, you just got to understand that you can't agree with everybody all the time.
Yeah.
So, and to me, I mean, I guess some of the controversy sells books, but you got to be real careful.
Yeah. Well, do you guys ever find because of things that go on and drama that you try to stay clear of, do you ever worried hey, will this hinder our growth?
Yeah, that's a major concern. There's a little thing that I did a couple weeks ago, and it helped us overall. But I mean, you got to be real careful about it because I wasn't trying to.
I love how Sweens is laughing because he's oh yeah, I remember that when he did that.
It wasn't supposed to be controversial. It was a couple of weeks ago. I put out this thing and it was hashtag CG my way, and all it was Yeah, to me it was no big deal. It was like, well, we like to do the war campaign thing, and well, maybe we're not into the war campaign thing. We're all Comicsgate, and we can just say, look, we can disagree and still be Comicsgate. That was the whole thing. That's all I wanted it. It was just like a shorthand for, hey, I'll do CG my way, you do CG your way. Mm-hmm. And it was a way to just understand, a shorthand, we can all agree to disagree, that kind of thing. And for whatever reason, it blew up. And it was like, whoa, what's going on? And 4 days, it was kind of big, and then it like just died off. And that's what happens with a lot of these controversies is it blows up, it flares up, and then just kind of dies away.
Kind of dissolves away, right?
Yeah. But we got a few backers out of it, and I got away mostly unscathed. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so funny. Every time I'd log into Twitter, it was like Dave was at the top, and it was like him fending off, what he was saying. It went on for days, and I was just like, "Good grief!"
But what it ended up being was a great way to show people that I'm not out to fight anybody. Because whenever somebody would say, this one guy was like, "Hey, just shut up and make the comic and deliver my," he was like, "Shut up and just deliver my comic on time." And I was like, "Hey, thanks for being a backer. We really appreciate it. We'll make sure we get your book to you on time." And it's a great way to show that you can be professional in your responses.
Yeah. I know, that's crazy, man. That stuff is so entertaining, at times. Like, you just kind of like, you get into that scrolling habit, and it's like, oh, geez, now what's going on, But I'll tell you, Twitter's crazy, man. It's kind of a hard thing to follow. You're like, wait, where did this start? What is this even about? Should I be worried about something?
It's insane. I just don't like. Sometimes I see the exact same people arguing. Like, I'll be scrolling through and I see it, and it's like they've been fighting for days and all day long. And I'm like, what are you doing with your life? Like, why is your life revolving around, arguing with someone you don't even know on social media? Like, I don't know. I prefer to live my life. And,
I guess it's just they're that passionate about it. I don't know. I kind of wondered that myself. Like, what drives that, right? Like, what drives
I think
such
everyone's
emotion?
trying to get the last word.
Yeah.
The last word.
It escalates because there's like you come down to, oh, so and so's got so and so's information and they're gonna dox you, and I'm like, it's comic books. I don't understand why should anybody be afraid of anything over comic books?
Yeah.
True, bro.
Exactly. It's crazy. It's craziness.
Scala, it's crazy.
And that's why we just got to keep focused on making good books, and that's it. And grow your brands, build your characters, the plots, the stories, and let your journeys continue. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Billy. Look at this man. He never stops. He's always at that table.
First I've been at that table all damn day, bro.
You're not supposed to admit to that.
No, well, my sister-in-law had a baby, and I'm going to be the godfather.
Congratulations.
So we went over there yesterday. That was nice. So I got to see my godson for the first time.
Very cool.
Yes.
That's what life's all about. You know what I mean?
Oh, man, it's about enjoying things. And if you don't like something, that's why you can walk away or turn your head.
The first time I ever saw Billy Tucci anywhere, I was like, he's a godfather of somebody. I knew it.
Oh, I have 3 goddaughters. 3 or 2. Let me see. Hang on. I have 2 goddaughters. So.
Really? Yeah. I don't have any. Yeah. I have not been blessed to be anyone's godparent.
Well, you're Jehovah's Witness, bro. You can't be a godfather.
Jehovah's Witness? What are you talking about?
I don't know, man. I thought you were.
Jehovah's Witness.
You're not Jehovah's Witness?
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with Jehovah's Witness. Oh, my God. I got to tell you the story of the girl in high school.
Now we just caused another problem.
Very, very sad story. She wouldn't date me because I wasn't that.
Oh, I had that experience too.
Did you really?
We were having a lot of fun. Everything was great. She was Mormon. I was like, I'm not, I respect your thing, respect mine. But it totally didn't work out. I wasn't going down.
You hated the Osmonds, and that pissed her off.
Yeah. I was like, what is this? I was like, do the rules apply here? She's like, no. I was like, peace.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, wear my pajamas.
Magic underwear, that's a whole nother issue.
Yeah, there you go. It's craziness.
Crazy.
Now we're gonna wake up some angry tweets about our comments.
Yes, Nile hates.
Nile hates Jehovah's Witnesses. Yay!
I love Jehovah's Witnesses. I hope they buy all our books.
Yes, I love everybody, and I want them to support everyone. And that's why I take the time to bring this little broadcast to everyone each and every week.
Look at that. See, that's why you're the king of crowdfunding comics.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jester.
And I am just your humble,
Billy's my pretty face, huh?
Yeah,
Hey, I'm gonna start a show. I'll put Billy 2 channels so people watch it. Hey,
I'm the guy that had, a Becca de Bupo, or Bupa de Beppo with Marv Wolfman.
Oh yeah.
Like, hey man, I see you're at Buca de Beppo. Can you see if Marv will come on our show?
Yeah. We need Marv on, man. Marv Wolfman.
Yeah, well, right now we've got 2 badasses on our show, so
hell yeah.
Hopefully we will get Marv Wolfman, but in the meantime, we have these guys. And now that you guys have been on our show, you guys are always welcome.
Yes.
Hey, we appreciate it.
We look forward to you doing the book, to the second one. So what is the second one? Do you have a title for Oddity 2?
I will reveal the title. The title for Oddity 2 is going to be Oddities, Botched Science, and Magic.
Nice.
And your screen disappeared for a hot second when you said that.
Just switched me.
Say magic again. Say it again.
Yeah.
Magic.
Holy.
Magic.
I should not be the main picture.
It's fantastic.
Badass, bro. Perfect. I'm a fan.
All right, guys. Well, man, it's been great having you guys on the show. It's been fantastic. Look forward to your book. Actually, if you guys don't mind, I'm a huge fan of campaign videos. And before we leave, I got to play the Oddity video. And we have. Absolutely. We have supported, and we've put you guys in crowdfunding call-outs a few times.
Yeah.
So without further ado, I need to play the video. Ooh, you got me at the end.
With the money shot.
Sneaky gentleman. That's fantastic.
Too,
I love
man.
those videos, bro. I love those things.
Good.
Music was great. Fantastic. All right, guys. Well, hey, man, it was awesome having you guys on the show.
We really appreciate you having us.
Yeah. Anytime you guys got something
so
new coming on, please let us know. I'm sorry, Sweens, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just thanking you guys, and appreciate you guys having us on the show. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. And tomorrow night, just so you guys know, and for everyone out there watching, we've got Clint Stoker on with his new campaign on Indiegogo, Downcast. So he'll be joining us tomorrow night. at 9 p.m. And before that, we're going to be broadcasting just a little, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Just a little powwow with Mr. Tucci, seeing what's going on with his campaign and what he has coming up with some new reward levels on the in demand that he has going on Indiegogo. So, Mr. Tucci, without further ado, I don't know if you got anything else you want to say before we take off.
This has been great, boys. Great luck with the whole thing. We hope to see you, this year. Not only once again, not only again on the show, but also maybe we can catch up with you guys at a show or something like that.
Yeah,
and because you guys are awesome, man. You guys are good. You got a great book, great product, and all the best of luck to you. Seriously,
thank you very much. We really appreciate you having us.
Yeah. And if you guys need anything, any advice, whatever, or anything, or if you just want to chat and you're lonely, just call us.
Slide right in his DMs.
Just come right in, bro. That's it. Just DM it. All right, everyone. We will see you again tomorrow night with Clint Stoker. You guys have a great night. Thanks so much, Billy. I'll talk to you tomorrow, buddy.
Scala, you got it, boys. Have a great one. Everyone have a great one. Lee Ditworth, Eric Hawkins, Mandy, thank you again, as always. TJ, Mob Seed, of course, Spectre Comics, Geek Hero, all you guys have been out here. Bubba, thanks a lot, man. Mob Seed, Pow, thank you guys.
All right, everyone. Have a great night.
Y'all have a good night.
Tally ho, boys. Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
All right.
Bye.
Likewise.
Bye-bye.